In 3, 2, 1, we are now live. Welcome to another fantastic, exciting episode of Buddy Talks.
Hi.
We have a very special guest here with us tonight.
That feels like you're calling me slow, and I don't like that. That hurts my feelings. No, I'm just kidding.
It's all right. You've definitely heard his voice before if you listen to In Our Honest Opinion.
Yeah.
And also Obscene Take and Apples to Apples.
God, you're such a bastard.
You know you love that shit. It's your favorite.
Yeah.
That's right, and you don't have to really hold back on here.
Yeah.
It's a little more carefree.
Yeah. I won't drop excessive curse words like they did in the beginning of, what was it, Logan?
Oh, yeah, exactly. We don't need to prove a point.
Yeah, exactly.
But tonight we have Mr. William.
Hey, what's going on? Hi, guys. I'm Will, and you probably have heard my voice. I'm one of the co-creators of In Our Honest Opinion. I am a Taurus. I don't really like long walks on
Ford?
the beach. No. I'm a Hyundai guy. I like my hybrid.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to tell them like my favorite color or something?
Yeah, man.
Red.
Yeah, just
It's red like the blood.
we're introducing people to you who may not know who you are.
Yeah. Marvin and I have known each other for way too long.
A long time.
We're part of an old podcast that had a lot of F-bombs and a bunch of darker stuff that failed, of course. We learned from our mistakes. I said, hey, I want to do another podcast, but want to do something different than what we did before. In Our Honest Opinion was born of it.
Yeah.
And so I guess I'm the producer of that podcast.
I think so, and director.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just the editor.
Yeah, you're our tech guy and one of the co-hosts.
Yeah.
You're one of the trio, of course. But me, for those who don't know me, I love sci-fi. I love watching movies just because they're movies. Whether it's a genre I like or don't like, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I'll watch it just because it's popular or to appreciate whatever they've done to it, whether it be a score or the production, the acting, whatever. I enjoy movies in general, and I love to give, and this isn't a pun on our podcast at all, but I do love to give my honest opinion on movies, which is why I watch a lot of stuff that traditionally doesn't fall under my umbrella.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to tell you, oh, that movie sucks just because I think it sucks, not knowing what's actually been filmed or whatever. I like actually watching the movie. Go, no, it sucks because it sucked, and I'll tell you why. Bad acting, bad directing, bad whatever. I like to validate my opinions.
What's the suckiest movie that you've seen that you just love?
A crappy movie. Man, there's so many crappy movies. I think
this movie's just terrible, but I love this movie.
And this one, Mario Brothers is one.
Yeah.
Movie's terrible. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
I love watching it. Another one that actually would probably fall in my top 5 of films I love, and I know it's a bad movie, is My Blue Heaven. Which is. It's stereotypical Steve Martin playing a mafia guy, an Italian mafia dude, all over the top. Rick Moranis is in it, playing an FBI agent. It's not a great movie as far as writing or whatever. It's hilarious though, and I appreciate the way it was put together. I love that movie, hands down.
Okay.
So
That's awesome.
that's me in a nutshell.
You are in a nutshell.
I am. Yeah.
That's why I call you Nutmeg.
Yeah.
That's a callback.
I forgot about
to In Our Honest Opinion.
Yeah. What episode was that?
I don't even remember.
Yeah, there's so many. My bad. Go
ahead. But yeah, this is I think your first showing here on Buddy Talks, and what we're here about, that still doesn't make much sense, but it's okay.
What we're here to talk about?
Yeah, what we're here to talk about
is
just kind of shoot the shit, and just a lot of this is more candid conversation.
Yeah.
Where we bring a couple of topics and just kind of talk about them as buddies.
Yeah.
But kick things off after the introduction. How are you doing this week? Let's do a little mental health check-in.
Not too bad. Work is crazy for me. I've taken on a new role, and so because of that, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that I'm juggling. I've got 8 guys under me that I kind of have to follow up on their work. I've got local government inspections coming in to check some stuff this week. I'm in charge of ordering for supplies and stuff like that. There's a lot. So it's chasing me in my dreams.
That sounds stressful.
I definitely had a couple of dreams where I wake up and I'd be like, did I fill out those orders? Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm good.
I think the last time I had a dream like that was when I worked at Ross in the shoe department.
9.5.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh God, I hope your shoes.
Your feet, yes, they stink.
Can't find the left one. Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, you?
I've been actually doing all right. This week's okay. Just learning a lot of things with work can be very stressful. It comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had to realize I can't make everyone happy.
Nope.
That's a hard part. That's something that I definitely struggle with. But other than that, I can't complain, man. I just can't believe that we're already this far into the year.
Yeah.
Which is quite nutty.
It's crazy with everything that's been going on, especially even with all this podcast stuff. Like we've got a good number of projects up in the air. Some stuff working that we're working on in the background. So you know what I mean. Like, and then I know for you, it's part of that's got to blur the line a little bit, right? For you, because some of the stuff you do for. Mm-hmm. Even for us, for IOHO, and for Buddy Talks, it kind of crosses over into what you do for work. So
it does. I'm
sure that can kind of creep in where it's all like, I've been editing.
That's why it's very difficult for me to sit in front of a computer.
Yeah,
that's when I get home.
I can't blame you,
unless I'm playing Persona.
Yeah,
and I play it because I'm a very kind person. I
don't believe that.
I let the live studio audience. I'll give her the TV and I'll play it remotely from my laptop. Remote play is awesome.
She said, "Yep."
Yep.
I'm still waiting on The Witcher to come out on the Switch.
Oh man!
The other day I looked it up. I was like, "Damn it! They didn't even announce a date yet."
No,
it just said this year. Oh,
exactly.
All right, we're good.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Just when? I just know the new Switch Lights went on sale today.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
okay.
The pre-orders actually.
See, and I was looking for the pre-order button for The Witcher. That's why I went looking for it. I was like, I'm sure it's probably not out, but let me at least hit pre-order.
Yeah.
It won't even come up in their search.
I'll keep an eye out for it.
Appreciate that.
But let's get into this.
Let's
get into the nitty-gritty. You got a topic that you want to tell us about.
I do.
Something that just puts a fire in your loins.
It does.
What is that?
So I know that I said earlier, right, that I do enjoy films, right? And this is one of those things that has come up over in IOHO quite often, even in our personal life. Me, you, and Adam, we talk constantly throughout the day, days on end, right? And one of the things that I think is kind of always like nagged at me is that big studios, right? They've got what are called tentpole, pictures. For those who don't know, right? Those are their summer blockbusters. These are the movies that pay the bills. These are the ones that they put a big investment in, but they expect a huge turnaround on it, right? They expect that they're going to walk away with plenty of money, and that gives them the security to do smaller pictures. Mm-hmm. I appreciate smaller pictures.
Yeah. Little indie projects and little.
Yeah. These are the projects where
art house.
And I know that this doesn't sound like a small budget, but when you find out that a movie was made for $9 million, you know what I mean? Or for $30 or $40 million, you can appreciate what was done there because you know that that's money spent on cast, crew, you know what I mean? Moving around location to location, editing, like that sounds like a lot of money to the everyman, but on a film's budget, like 30-40 million can go quick, which is why you end up with a movie like Avengers that hits 250-300 million, like and that's not counting advertising.
No.
And so I just, these movies, they have to exist. I think that in order for us to appreciate, right, the art that some directors are and some writers are trying to put together, you've got to have that one movie that appeals to the greater, like to the larger audience.
Yeah.
The ones that fills the seats, because without it, I don't think you're gonna be able to see those other films as often.
Yeah.
It's gonna feel like a waste of money.
Yeah, that's why we have so many Fast and Furious movies.
And what sucks is that, I mean, like, you're right.
Yeah.
That was a franchise that I was on board with at the beginning, but it overstayed its welcome.
About when did you fall off?
What was it? The one where they said bye to Paul Walker. Was that the seventh? Yeah.
That's a long time before you fell off.
Yeah. But technically, right, what happened was I fell off. The second one ruined it for me, right? I enjoyed the first one.
You're
second
not a
one
Tyrese
ruined
fan?
it for me. It was way too many neon colors. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But then the third one I watched well after it was released on like home,
That's
video.
how I watched it too.
Yeah, and I was like, I mean, I guess I may as well watch this thing, and it wasn't bad. I was like, take out Bow Wow, and this movie isn't terrible.
I think a lot has to do with it was a little bit of a smaller movie.
It was.
They had to kind of rein it in a little bit,
They
and
did.
it worked in their favor.
Yeah, and they created one of the best characters of the franchise, which was Han.
Yeah.
Which was one of those things where it was all like, yo, you can get rid of everyone else. That's a character I'd like to see again.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they did.
Yep.
And it was funny because the ongoing joke for 4, 5, and I think 6 was Han dies at the end.
Yeah.
Right? And whether he did or didn't, and it was because Han dies at the end.
Yeah.
Like,
he died in his initial movie.
Third movie, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things where the franchise lost me, but it's still growing, which blows my mind. Like no bullshit. I don't want to watch Hobbs and Shaw.
But we're going to, damn it.
I am. It's on my A list. Like I'm gonna be in that fucking seat and I'm gonna be watching it going, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
He's the Black Superman.
Yeah. But that alone, right? They got $15, $20 for me, like whatever fucking format, like we're watching it in. Like, well, I'm gonna watch it. They're gonna get it right. They're gonna make money off of it. And now you know that they started filming the 9th film in the franchise.
Did they start filming it already?
Yeah, I think they finally just started. And
that's right, because John Cena.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. They photo of everyone on set or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's just, and here I am going, why the fuck are they making more of these?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like, it's got to happen, right? Universal needs to make that money. Because if not, I'm not going to get who knows what smaller project. And maybe this isn't small in the sense of like, unknown actors and small budget, whatever. But Arrival is one that I think, did I hand that to you guys on DVD? Like,
I own it.
Okay,
I haven't watched it yet.
That's right, and I gave it to Adam. Right, that's starring Amy Adams, right?
Adams.
And what's his name that plays Hawkeye?
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah,
right. That's a project, and it directed by Denis Villeneuve, I think, or whatever.
Is it Villeneuve? Villeneuve? I don't know.
It's one of those things.
Yeah.
Him,
the guy doing Dune.
Yes.
Yeah. Villanova.
I thought it was pronounced Villeneuve, but maybe in the French way. I don't.
Yeah.
Who knows? Whatever, man. No disrespect. I love his work. Like. He
just can't say your name.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Ask Musky Spaghetti about it.
Yeah.
But it's just, that's one of those things where that was a smaller film. You know what I mean? And and I love that movie. Like, and that was, I think that was Universal, wasn't it?
I want to say yes.
Well, I'm going to double check. Are you looking on yourself?
I'm pulling the movie out.
Do it.
It was Paramount?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, and Paramount's one that they did those, Star Trek films, which were big budget, big money, you know what I mean? And it's things like this that we get for it. Like, okay, it's a necessary evil, right? And at the same time, I enjoy some of those things. The MCU is one that we constantly talk about. Like,
I can't get enough.
Yeah, like it 10 years, 11 years now or whatever, like they've had a great run so far. And looking back at how it started, Iron Man was like the first like actual like MCU film or whatever, and that wasn't big when you think about how like where the movies are at now, including even looking at Ant-Man and stuff like that. Like those movies have bigger production, bigger budgets and everything right behind them than what the original Iron Man did. And that was a small movie that turned into a big thing. Like the potential for that to exist for other films, I think, is out there. You know what I mean? And I'm not looking for a sequel for every damn thing I watch. I'm not.
No.
I want a good movie.
Everything they want to turn a franchise into everything. I get it. It makes money, and that's what these are there for, to make money. It sucks when you have some of these visions that are little fun projects and fun pieces, and then they want to milk them for everything they're worth.
I think a great example of that totally got fucked during production was Fantastic Four. Josh Trank's version. That's the most recent Fantastic Four. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one where he did Chronicle, right?
Which was great.
Which was great.
I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. And that movie was great.
The movie was great. You watch Fantastic Four and you see that behind the scenes, right? Studio wanted one thing, director wanted another, and because of that, it completely fell apart.
Yeah.
They pulled him out of the project. Whoever else they put on there didn't wrap it up. Editing was terrible. Like, the movie was just a mess.
Yeah.
And granted, when I watched it, it was just all like, you can see hints at what it could have been, but unfortunately not good enough to save. And it had a good cast.
Yeah.
What's his name? Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
What's not Ansel Elgort? That's not his name. This kid with the scar on his face.
I know who you're talking about. Who played Mr. Fantastic?
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Like another one. And then
I can't even remember the movie's so forgettable.
yeah, that's what sucks. And I'm trying to remember all of them. Fantastic.
I don't even remember who played Doom.
Yeah, that was Jamie something.
Kate Mara. She was in it.
She was Invisible Woman.
Jamie Bell.
Jamie Bell. That's the one
Miles
who played
Teller.
Miles Teller. Thank you. Sweet Jesus. Trying to remember his name. But
and Toby Kebbell is Doom.
Toby Kebbell. And Toby Kebbell is one of those actors that I think is great. I think he's an underappreciated actor. And the one that the movie that did it for me was his first one, Rock and Roller.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was the rock and roller, and so it's just you saw something there. That's one of those that again that it was trying to get milked for more than what it was.
Yeah.
You know what it was. Had they just treated it as one movie and then see if they could build off of that for a sequel, it might have been okay, but it didn't. It got butchered.
Yeah,
sad. And I kind of enjoyed the Fantastic Four films with Chris Evans as Human Torch.
yeah.
Like, I didn't think those were bad.
And I think you bring up a good point, though, because I know Adam, we've always gone on, and he hates the fact that a lot of these big budget movies are as popular as they are because he feels they have no soul.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't get a lot of these smaller films that he loves.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have these other things fit in the bill.
I think recently, Midsommar was...
yeah.
Right? Very small production budget. But supposedly beautiful shots, right? Yeah. Getting great reviews. And that's one that, like, again, I mean, I'm not a horror guy. I want to go watch it.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think that there's some great storytelling that went on there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, I heard a timer. I thought that was me.
Not you. Not you.
I was like, whoops, what did I say? But ultimately, that's what it is, right? I think it's a necessary evil. It has to happen. I enjoy some of those evils, to some extent. It does suck sometimes whenever you watch, something get torn apart. I remember sometimes it's corporate greed that gets in the way.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I'm going to jump back here. Do you remember when Microsoft shopped around the Halo script?
Vaguely.
So, to every studio on the same day, at the same time, Master Chief showed up with the script for the studio head to read.
Yeah.
They showed up, and it sent shockwaves online because everybody was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
Microsoft said, hey, this is the script. Read it now. Give it back. Our guy leaves. And then the deal was, I think each studio had to pull up like $5 or $10 million up front.
Yeah.
For whatever, for licensing, for whatever. They had to put up $10 million up front and guarantee that they had a director for it, which was, what's his name? Oh my God, he's doing RoboCop. He did District 9.
Oh, it's like right there on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah. I'm looking it up to see if you could remember it, but he's...
No.
Blomkamp.
Blomkamp, yeah.
Neil Blomkamp.
Blomkamp, yeah.
Yep. Neil Blomkamp was directing. I think Guillermo del Toro was producing.
Yeah. I vaguely remember that was a little bit ago.
Peter Jackson, I'm sorry, was producing. Peter Jackson.
Was it Peter Jackson?
Yep.
Oh, even bigger.
Weta, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
that's right.
And Blomkamp has shown that he can stretch a budget, like with CG. He's done
District
it for
9 was
commercials.
fantastic.
District 9's amazing. I mean, I like his library of films. District 9, Chappie. The weakest was Elysium, but even that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
But that was one where studios got greedy. Well, no, I don't want to take that risk. I want control of the whatever. And and you can't say the movie wouldn't have made money.
Yeah.
This was at Halo's high point.
Yeah.
I mean, this is when people wanted it. It would have, hands down.
It would sell like gangbusters.
Yeah. And I think Marvel has shown you that, when
Take
it comes to nerds, they'll come out in droves.
Yeah. They love what they love.
Exactly.
And they will support what they love.
Star Wars has done it year after year, no matter how bad prequels had gotten, right? They still made a shit. Oh, yeah, I can say that. A shit ton of money.
Yeah.
I caught myself like, wait a minute. But they did. They made a ton of money. What's this other Star Trek? Even those remakes.
Yeah.
Granted, the third one didn't make as much, but
still haven't seen it.
Those make and that's the most like traditional Trek film of all of them.
Yeah.
But they made a ton of money there too. Like these are things that like you got to have faith in your fan base sometimes. You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. They're not willing to take that risk. They always want these sure things. How is this bankable? How can we turn this to a franchise? Look at some of these other things. So paranormal activity.
First one had what, $4 million budget, if I remember correctly?
I think so. I know it was stupidly small. The most special effects they used was talcum powder.
Yeah, I think
talcum powder and camera tricks. They shot a couple different endings and went from there. How many movies deep did it end up being? It's like, what, 7?
Holy shit. So I'm looking at it now, right? And there are 6 films, right?
Okay.
Total. And complete budget for all 6 films?
Yeah.
$28 million.
$28 million.
Box office draw for all 6 films?
How many?
$890 million. Crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's why these movies keep getting made.
That's ridiculous. And they had that first one. Now it's a total departure from what it was. Because I know the original was just kind of about like some paranormal stuff and her kind of getting taken over. And then they kind of moved on. It was more like, is this real or is it not? Is she crazy? Is it actually happening?
And I think a lot of people kind of bought the same way that they did the first Blair Witch, right? They're like, oh my God, this is based on a true story. Like, this is real stuff. This really happens.
Yeah.
$15,000 budget on the first one. $193 million turnaround.
15,000. That's
15, it? Yep, that's it.
Wow. That's okay. That's even the profit margins, man.
I'm going to stand up for a second.
No problem, man. you need a moment?
I'm good.
Okay.
So, but that's a huge number all on its own, right?
Yeah.
They made a crap ton of money. And of course they keep coming back. Saw films did the same thing.
Yeah.
Like these
Blair
are
Witch.
films. These are yeah, you're right. They did end up coming back. But these are films that did the same thing that like Marvel has done, right? Where they were able to bank off of one thing and they turned it into something else. The Conjuring universe is a thing right now, right?
Yeah.
How many spin-offs is that? And there's only 3 actual
It's
Conjuring
a whole
films.
like universe now.
Yeah.
Annabelle.
Yeah.
It has La Llorona. Is that part of it also?
Yeah, that is part of it. The whatever man.
Crooked Man.
Crooked Man. Yeah.
That's coming out, and we're also getting what's the one? The Nun.
The Nun. That
We
one's
had,
got
like,
two.
two.
Of them? Yeah. Yeah, the second one I think is in production right now.
So it shows that you can get a lot done with a small budget and turn them into huge franchises. Let's see. Batman versus Superman. Budget 250 to 300 million.
300 mil.
Box office 873 million.
Crap ton of money.
Yeah.
And that movie got shit on.
Yeah.
Justice League I think Justice League made like 500 mil.
Did it roll that?
Yeah, but the budget on that jumped up to like 300 mil because of reshoots.
Yeah.
300 or 400 mil, something like that. Which is stupid.
Let's see.
Justice League film. There it is.
300 million, box office 657.
It still made money.
It made money, but more than 10 times the budget for the entire 6 movies of Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
And the entire 6 movies still made more. The profit is just huge.
Yeah. And so when studios do this, when they go ahead and say, okay, we're going to go ahead and make this movie, and you know that initially they don't jump up to 150 million. I mean,
no.
not unless that's got a director or whatever behind it that you know is going to be. James Cameron can do whatever the hell he wants, whenever the hell he wants.
Oh yeah, he's proven himself. He's got what now 2 and 3 highest grossing movies of all time.
Avatar, right? Terminator made a shit ton of money too.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, right? He did Aliens, which I think made I think every one of his films has actually proven not Total Recall. It is with Schwarzenegger though. And Jamie Lee Curtis.
True Lies.
That was James Cameron as well, wasn't it?
I think so. Was it?
I think he did direct that.
Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But go on with your point.
But it's the idea that, like, you know, whenever you've got like someone big like that behind it, then directed by James Cameron
and produced.
Screenplay
story. Yeah.
That's the only time that they really shell out like that big amount of money, right? Yeah. So for the majority of projects, it's a rather conservative start.
Yeah.
And so whenever you see that a movie like this, one of these big franchise films or one of these tentpole pictures are coming out, right? The studios only release 2 or 3.
Yeah.
At most a year. Marvel, I think, is the only one that, like, delivers 3 at a time.
3 to 4.
You're getting one in February or whatever. You're getting one in the summer, and then you're getting another one in the fall. Like, that's and it works for them. You know what I mean? They were able to kind of take over, especially in February when there isn't much to watch.
No,
there isn't much competition that time of year. You get over that holiday like lull, you know what I mean, or that holiday burst of films where everything is Christmas themed, and they're
doing like heavy hitters, like Captain America. Winter Soldier came out in February.
In February,
March. It came out early in the year.
Captain Marvel too. I think we got her.
Yeah, we got her earlier this year.
Yeah.
So they're not afraid to just kind of throw some of these characters out there to do big things.
Yeah.
So now, talking about Jordan Peele.
Yep.
Get Out. Pretty modest budget.
Yeah.
They didn't have a lot in it because he was a guy going into horror.
Yep.
From comedy.
From Key and Peele.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He was known for his comedy. And now he's super bankable. He can do pretty much whatever he wants now.
One of my favorite things that he said in an interview, right, was someone asked him, what was the difference, when you were writing this compared to when you were writing Get Out?
Yeah.
And he goes...
For us?
For us, yeah, sorry. I said writing this, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't mentioning... I wasn't saying that was the name of the film, but it was an interview for us.
Yes.
So that's the way the question was posed, right? When you were writing Us... what was the difference in writing that compared to when you were writing Get Out?
Yeah.
And he said, that's easy. I knew this one was going to get made.
Yeah, that's true.
He said when he was writing Get Out, it was constant, rewriting and going back and making things better because he didn't know if a studio would ever actually greenlight it.
Yeah.
The difference with, Us is that he knew it was getting made no matter what.
Yeah, let's see. Get Out had a budget of $4.5 million.
Okay.
Made $255.
Damn. And Us must have made more than that because off hype alone, people went to watch it.
Oh yeah, I love that movie. I like Get Out more.
Yeah.
I still love Us. Let's see, Us budget $20 million, 5 times more.
Mm-hmm.
Box office $254.
Oh, okay. About the same thing then.
Yeah.
Still a great turnaround.
Yeah, almost on my Get Out made a little bit more. That made $1 million more.
Yeah.
255 versus 254, but still,
yeah.
The fact that and it goes to show, Us had a bigger budget, but it made less.
Yeah.
Than Get Out, and he knew it was going to get made. Not saying anything bad about Us.
Yeah, but I think that says that he didn't push himself creatively, or he wasn't pushed. Maybe not that he didn't push himself, but he wasn't pushed creatively because he wasn't pinned into that corner.
Exactly.
So, but. Another point there, right? It's the fact that just because the money's there doesn't always mean that the product is going to be any better.
Yeah.
So
sometimes less is more. Works a little bit better.
Yeah. So again, that was my biggest thing. I know I think we kind of ran off in a tangent there.
And that's perfectly fine. That's something we can do in Buddy Talks. Yeah. We will run on tangents.
This one fly keeps messing with you and messing with me. Bastard.
He loves you. He
loves
saw
me.
his friend that got drowned in your drink, and then he's like, I must avenge him.
Fucking lemonade.
But speaking of movies, let's kind of continue with this.
Yeah.
We'll open it up a little bit because I know I've had some talks with a couple other friends of mine, and we're talking about censorship.
Yeah.
Now, the whole conversation initially stemmed from Sony. Are you familiar with a lot of the stuff that they're doing?
Sony or what some of the other studios are? I know that
Sony in their video game realm.
They're not Gears of War. That's Epic.
No, that's Epic. That's Microsoft.
So Microsoft owns?
Oh wait, no. But that's on the Microsoft platform.
Yeah.
Xbox.
I was like, wait,
no,
what? That's a whole different. Yeah. That needed to be in another podcast,
right?
But no, what's Sony doing?
So Sony, a lot of games that are coming out. I know the most recent Devil May Cry. There's a couple of games where like sexual fantasies and stuff like that are heavy in it, especially the little anime games. They're censoring a lot of that stuff on Sony's platform. So PlayStation 4 has a lot of censorship. So they'll be wearing bikinis, but they'll be rays of sunlight, so it'll block it out. Nintendo, the family friendly, they're not doing that.
Oh, they're not blocking it.
They're not censoring it.
Interesting.
That's happening. Recently, Stranger Things?
Sony sells more units, though.
They do. And I get it, but some of the stuff, it doesn't really affect me that much because, I mean, it's video game.
How many girls? Yeah, exactly.
It's not that
How
big
many
of a
video
deal.
games do you play to go look up an anime girl skirt? Like that's what you're gunning for here?
But I'm noticing other things.
Halo would have been a different game.
Yeah, it would have been.
Anyways, my bad. Go ahead.
When we have things like Stranger Things, the smoking was a heavy criticism that happened this time around.
That was a crock of shit.
But in the 80s, smoking was a huge thing. There were smoking lounges in schools. You can be in like hospitals smoking, restaurants.
You can see it in films from the 80s.
Yeah.
You can see the smoke in the air in some of those scenes where you're just all like, holy shit, it was that apparent?
It was bad.
It was that bad.
And people knew that smoking was bad. However,
plastered on every box.
It was still everywhere. Now, what are your thoughts on censorship? I think they're getting a little bit out of hand.
It is. I think it's a little excessive, especially in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Films, games, right? It's a method of storytelling, right?
Yes.
There are ratings on these things, like for a reason, man. Like rated R is rated R, not so that way you can really think about if you want to show it to your kid.
Yeah.
It's rated R because of language,
nudity,
graphic,
violence.
Yeah, exactly, violence, nudity, the whole bit. So
adult
it's like,
themes, yeah.
Yeah. It's intended for that age range. It's PG, right? Parental guidance is for a reason. PG-13. Hey, 13 and up, you're okay. Because at that point, a child's mind has processed enough information to understand kind of what's going on screen. Exactly. Yeah. So it does. It frustrates the shit out of me when all of a sudden you find out that what was it? Right? Truth is I think. Where I thought this was going. Where they're like, hey, Gears of War isn't going to have, their characters smoking their stogies anymore. Yeah. Because they're selling it. Gears of War is rated fucking M, you idiot. Yeah. Like, for the parent, and for the parent who's letting their, 11-year-old cut people in half with a chainsaw gun, like, you're a fucking moron. And, yeah, I mean that. Like, like, that shouldn't have to affect other people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that shouldn't... I shouldn't have to now put in a game. And granted, for those of you who are like, oh, well, he must be a Gears of War, huge fan. I'm not. I barely even play video games. Like, realistically, I don't.
It's just one that you're familiar with.
Exactly. But it's that kind of stuff where it frustrates me because then when you watch, when you look at the group of individuals, right, who are intended to enjoy, right, this art, this story,
to consume this media,
exactly. Like now they're being gypped out of that, right, because a large majority of individuals lack self-control,
and they use it constantly as a scapegoat.
They do.
It's like, parent your damn kids.
Yeah, that's exactly it. For lazy parenting, or for being naive to think that that everyone should be treated this way. No.
Yeah.
No, there are certain limits in place, and I'm not saying that everything is perfect, right? No. But there are certain limits that are in place for a reason. They're rated G movies for a reason. There's only what is it on the radio, public radio, right?
Yeah.
That sometimes they can say the word ass or bitch, right?
Depending on how it's used.
Depending on how it's used.
Yeah.
A PG-13 movie allows you to say the word fuck once.
You get one
right?
hard.
As long as it's
fuck,
not sexually like that's funny.
One hard fuck.
Yeah, exactly. You're allowed one hard fuck. But as long as it's not used in a sexual manner, right? Yeah. You're allowed to say fuck this, not fuck me with this. Like,
exactly.
In the
butthole.
There's a difference. Like that's exactly it. And
that's just a little gratuitous.
and that's what parents like. That's what you should be worried about. That's why those things are in place. There's I noticed at the Veterans, right? We go to AMC a lot because we are AMC A-listers.
Not affiliated.
Yeah, exactly. No sponsorship.
Yeah.
But we see that they put a sign, right, that says rated R films after, I think, 6 or 7 p.m. Will not allow minors of any age, right, with the parent.
Really?
Yeah. And so
I did not know that.
And when I saw that, I was all like, good, right? Because adults should be allowed to go out during adult times, right?
Yeah.
Why am I going to a movie at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, right, to watch somebody get shredded in half, right, and have to worry that some 4-year-old is there because some parent wants to, hey, look, I get it. As a parent of 4 myself, I know that finding time to go out can be difficult.
Yeah.
Wait till the fucking thing comes out on Netflix or wait till it comes out on whatever. There's plenty of media options for you to watch whatever nowadays that if you are at home crying yourself to sleep at night because you weren't able to go watch Halloween opening weekend because you had to watch your kids, then maybe you should have thought about having those kids back then because you should have thought, what if Halloween comes out one day and I need to go watch it?
I need to see
my
Jamie
pullout
Lee
game.
Curtis.
Yeah, exactly. My pullout game needs to get better.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Tighten up, man. Tighten up. Case in point, I saw Deadpool 2.
Uh-huh.
Deadpool 2, yeah, it's a superhero movie, but it's violent as shit. It's rated R.
Rated R.
And there was like little kids crying.
I wouldn't, I'm lucky enough, right? I get it. I don't want to sound like I'm this privileged, whatever the hell, because
You're so
I'm
privileged.
definitely not, right? But I have my AMCA list,
Yeah.
and that gives me the time that when I am, right, I am divorced, right?
Yeah.
My parents go back and forth between homes. And
Your parents?
My parents.
Your parents go
my
back-
parents go back and forth between homes. And I'm like, your parents are divorced too. Get fucking used to
It's
it.
like, Mom, Dad,
Yeah.
I got to sit you down and
Like,
tell
are
you
you a
something.
grandma, great grandma's or great grandma's? I need to know. But my kids go back and forth right between my house and mom's house, right? And so I make it a point that if there's a movie I know that they're going to want to watch, I go watch it before they do, right? So that way I know that
Makes
I
sense.
can take them to watch it and I don't have to worry about it. And that gives me room to. Yes, I've taken I've got an 8-year-old and now a 10-year-old. I've taken them to PG-13 films, right? And a lot of Marvel movies are PG-13.
Yeah.
And they say more than just 1 or 2 like curse words. They say bitch a couple times or ass a couple times. But I knowing the context, I'm okay with that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm willing to take that flack from whatever parents.
There's still Disney backing it if
exactly.
you end of the day.
And I'm okay with that. Like I'm okay making that decision. I think other people have to kind of come to grips with like this exists. You know what I mean? Like these forms of entertainment exist at different levels. Stop trying to block it out for the rest of the people because you're having an issue controlling yours.
Especially if you have no plans on seeing this.
Whatsoever.
Just don't see it.
Yeah.
Don't see it.
Yeah.
Don't have your kids see it.
No one's making
Let
you
these
play.
other people consume
No
this.
one's making you play Persona.
No.
That's your decision.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all on me.
Stop playing it.
All 122 hours.
No,
That's
Marvin,
all on me.
Marvin, I'm talking to you. Stop playing it. I need you to talk to me more often.
You know- It's all about you.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
always about you, damn
Yeah.
it.
Oh, this is my podcast.
It's like, what time are we going to get here?
Yeah.
I need to know if I can play Persona.
Yeah, exactly. Look, bitch, you need time for me. My girlfriend, my video games,
Yeah.
my life.
And that's the thing. People just are afraid to have any sort of accountability.
Yep.
And they'll be like, you know what? I don't want to see this. I don't want anyone else to see this. And I'm getting really tired of that.
Yeah.
Especially this day and age. That seems to be what everyone wants to do is like, this isn't good enough for me. I don't want to see this. No one should experience any of this.
And so let me piggyback off that, right? Or not piggyback off that statement,
Yeah.
but off your topic a little
Yeah.
bit and ask you this question,
Okay.
right? Do you think you feel this way, right? Because of the era that you were born in and what you've seen? Has that numbed you to some of these things, or do you just think it is those people being a little over a little extra, as the kids would say nowadays?
I think it's people being a little bit extra because I'll be real. I've seen a lot of movies that I probably should not have seen at a young age, but I feel that I turned out into a functioning adult in this society. I'm not going out there being a delinquent or being salacious or anything like that. And I'm actually able to kind of hold my own. While we have some of these people that I feel are trying to block a lot of it out and restrain a lot of it. So what's that going to do? Okay, you were a kid. When you're told not to do something, you'd want to do it.
Yeah.
You're going to go out and do it. So if something's kind of hidden from you for a very long time, the very instant you get that little inkling of, I can get a little taste of this.
Yeah.
You're diving right in.
Yeah.
We were all kids. We're all middle schoolers. That's when all this shit usually happens.
Yep.
That's when I started using foul language.
I remember
I'm not
Grand
supposed to talk
Theft
like that.
Auto,
Oh
like
my
was
God.
the flack on that, like
Yeah.
it was crazy back in the day.
Yeah, hot coffee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing that gets me. A lot of the time, you see one nipple, you see one little like thing like that, but yet you'll see someone get their head cut off, ripped in half, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So violence is okay, but the smallest little bit of see an ass crack.
And I think that's kind of where the censorship's going, right?
Yeah.
The going off the question that I asked you, like I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I think that it is. It's not so much that I'm just hardened to whatever. No, like I understand what I'm watching.
Yeah.
And so because of that, like I understand what decision needs to be made in regards to whoever's exposed to it.
Exactly.
And so when I look at where like games like Grand Theft Auto, like that got huge flack way back in the day, right? And kind of watch how times have changed now, and it's not so much now against like violence or whatever, but it's against life choices. Yeah. Life decisions, and that's where it starts to irk me a little bit more, because this is where it pokes at people's choice to define themselves as whatever gender or fluidity in whichever way they want to go, where they stand politically, and where they stand at whatever decisions they make in their personal life. Like all of a sudden now it's people's hypersensitivity to your choices or whatever, and it's like, I'm not making my decision to hurt you. Yeah. Like this decision. This is for me. Yeah. Like and that's okay.
Yeah. It's like this is on me. This is affecting me.
Yeah. The game was made, you know what I mean, with whatever story told behind it and with whatever exposed to it. And I'm deciding that I'm gonna go ahead and shell out the $60. Yeah. I'm going to pop it in there and wait 14 hours while it installs the 7 gigs that it requires on my PlayStation. Yeah. And then I'm going to eventually play the fucking thing. And I'm not going to go, holy shit, I want a refund, because I saw on that packaging it said rated M for mature. And if I'm not mature enough to understand that, I shouldn't have bought the fucking thing in the first place.
Nope. You shouldn't be buying like these kids Call of Duty and so they can get online and just be assholes.
No. I really want to yell at some people.
Yeah.
Like, to the parents out there who are doing that, like, if those are the individuals that, like, if your kid is at home getting a hold of it, you know what I mean? Like, getting a hold of these games and playing it, and that's why you're voicing, is because you don't want them to, then do a better job at kind of corralling. Yeah, exactly. Policing that. That's the word. I was going to say corral. But
police it.
Exactly. And I get it. We live in a very digital age. Your kid still can't walk into a store and buy that game without walking by that register, having it scan on the machine, and that individual at the register going, hey, let me get your ID.
Exactly. They have to actually hit a button to get to the next screen to finish the transaction.
Yes. And if they're doing it online at home, why are you letting them access your credit card or your account to purchase? I know someone who recently had their 7-year-old who excused themselves from the dinner table because they didn't want to eat dinner, left and ordered a pizza, bread, and a soda on their iPad, because they knew the password for their Domino's login.
Wow.
Yep.
Fuck that.
Yep. 45 minutes later, someone's knocking at the door, and they're like, who the fuck ordered pizza? Come to find out it was a 7-year-old. Oh, that's mine. I told you I didn't want to eat dinner.
Now, what happened with this child?
I don't know. I didn't hear the rest of the story. I was blown.
Forget that noise. I mean, you have 4 kids ranging all sorts of ages.
Yeah, exactly. For youngest being 6, oldest being about to be 13.
Oh my God, 6.
Yep.
13. And, okay, so you have a 6-year-old,
6, 8, 10, and 13,
and a teenager.
Yeah.
Now, how do you handle them with this stuff? Now, do you actually like allow the 13-year-old more access to things? Do you have like a blanket?
And she does. It's not a blanket where it numbs them all, right? I understand that my soon to be 13-year-old is going to be able to see more and understand more. And I have conversations with my daughter, so I understand a little bit more, or at least I think I've got a better understanding of what she's capable of handling. Yeah. Right. My youngest, my boys, my 8 and 10-year-old, whenever we're watching TV and the couple kiss or whatever, they cover their eyes. Like, really? They're like, no, every time.
Still at that
they're
age.
Still at that age. And so, and that's because they're not exposed to it all the time. That's not something that's just part of their norm. You know what I mean? when their mother and I were together, like we had no issues with like PDAs, right?
Yeah.
It's the idea that like that stuff is gross from anything else, right?
Exactly.
They're still kids. There's still an innocence there.
They're children, yeah.
Exactly. And so I've got, my family is an iOS family, like we just are. And so on all of them, I've got, different passwords in the settings to keep them locked
Different
out
levels
of.
and stuff?
Yep. Of films and music that they can download and listen to.
Okay.
The apps that they can download. Every one of them, when they request an app, it gets pushed to my phone saying, hey, so-and-so wants to download this app. And I do actually look at it. I look at what the app is, what it's rated. Are there in-app purchases? And then from there, I can, double tap and Face ID it away.
I think I remember you telling me about that when they wanted to start using TikTok.
Yeah. I won't let them use TikTok. Because
No?
I've scrolled through TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
TikTok isn't clean because
No, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. Some of that stuff is vulgar.
Oh, definitely.
Some of it are girls showing half of everything. Just to get attention on there too. Guys cursing or rap songs that are just too vulgar.
Yeah.
No. And my daughter again turning 13. How come I can't get access to TikTok? Because there are things on there that you are just not ready to consume, and I'm not ready for you to take. To try and manage your way through. So no.
And I respect that. You're not just kind of saying, hey, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Well, why? Because I said
Because
so.
I
No,
said
you're
so. No.
explaining things.
Yeah.
You're kind of being like, this is why this is happening. There's a reason for this. You're not ready yet.
Exactly. My kids know that I don't curse around them. And I curse. Like I have zero issues cursing.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things that they've heard me sometimes,
Yeah.
like off, talking to other people, and they're like, "Ooh, like you curse," and
Yeah.
and I've told them, "Hey, look, at some point in your life, you're probably going to end up using those words, but until you understand them, you won't use those words in my house.
Yeah.
Like you won't go ahead and just throw it around, because at that point, then it really is just being negligent, right? It's the kids being really, oh my God, what's the right word? Ignorant.
Yeah. Ignorant. Yeah.
Yeah, that's no joke. That's what I said in my head. Ignorant, and I was all like, "What's the right way to say that?"
Yeah.
Ignorant.
Yeah.
Whoops. But that's what it is, right? That I want to make sure that I'm properly educating them, so that by the time they get to the age where they are using those words or watching those things on screen and interacting with those apps or whatever, they have a better understanding of what that is, so they've got a better grasp on one themselves, and in turn life. You know what I mean? It's just there's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm tired. Parenting, man, this shit's crazy.
Yeah. And that's funny, because I know some people who are super strict with their kids, and I feel not necessarily that their kid is just kind of coddled, per se, where it's like
Some are closeted.
some of these things you're freaking out, and it's really not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I think it might have been a little too overprotective.
A little too rough.
Yeah. Exactly. A little too rough. I mean, I don't have kids.
What?
That I know of. I don't have kids.
Some little kid steps down the stairs.
I know. First off, I'd be like, how did the child get in here? I'm a little terrified. Then I'd ask the live studio audience to please take care of that and check. I was like, I swear I saw a little child.
You go upstairs.
Yeah.
White people do that shit.
Exactly.
I'm waiting it up.
And they'll tell me stories about their kid. It's like, oh, they saw this thing and they were terrified. I was like, that's kind of absurd to me.
Yeah.
Because I could just think of some of the things that we saw as children. And they were like children's movies.
Yeah.
That were terrifying. Like Neverending Story or stuff like that. Some of that stuff was kind of creepy.
Yeah,
Let's be
dark.
real.
Yeah.
It was dark and a little creepy. Labyrinth. Some of that stuff was terrifying as a child.
Yep.
But now some of these kids, they wouldn't be able to handle that because they're so sheltered. Do you feel that that some of these people need to ease up? How do you feel about stuff like that?
Those parents, yeah. I feel like those are the same parents that when their kids fell, you know what I mean, that they'd run to go pick them up. And that was one of those things that, like, my ex-wife and I, like, we didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the parent in you wants to, like, your kid got hurt, you want to protect and save them. And for that, like, I understand that wholeheartedly. Like, I do. But then there's that part of you that goes that if I pick them up every time they fall, will they ever learn from it?
That's true.
And so, yeah. And I treated my boys and girls the same. They fall, tripped, scrape their knee, get up, you're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They'd get up, come over, kiss. Is everything okay? Is it
You're
bleeding?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Are you on fire?
Assess the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God, I didn't realize you were doused in gasoline.
Exactly.
This is a problem. But not everything's a fire.
Yeah.
And so like that's I think that you kind of have to expose them to a little bit of that as they grow up. Hence why, and I know this is kind of a stupid thing to compare it to, but that's why G-rated movies exist. The PG-rated movies exist. PG-13, rated R, NC-17. Like there are things in place, to expose those individuals to those things over time.
And it's funny you say it because I see, like out and about.
Yeah.
I see the extremes. I don't really see the middle of the road because I noticed. I don't really see kids playing outside.
I was about to say, kids on leashes.
It's like
sweet Jesus. Did it have to get to that point? You're walking your kid like you do your dog.
I mean,
did you?
I can understand to a certain extent.
So much sense now.
If you're out and about and you're like in a very crowded area, maybe have a leash. But some of these kids aren't even allowed to play in the front yard.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, summertime hit. I'm riding my bike to my friend's house, like a couple blocks over.
Yeah.
I know people, their kids aren't even allowed to play in the yard, in the front yard. I think some of that is just having too much exposure to too much media.
I think that's one thing. Take the neighborhood into account. I think, especially in my teenage years here in Florida, I was in a neighborhood, same neighborhood as you.
Yeah.
We played out on the streets.
Yeah.
I was a semi-responsible teenager, at 16, 17 years old. I had my brother out there. My brother and I have a 7-year difference between us. And so my mom trusting me, to watch him out there. And we stayed in our little cul-de-sac or whatever. And I mean, it worked out. You know what I mean? Like that was a thing. I grew up in the Virgin Islands. Even there, I played outside. And that was one where it wasn't even like right there in a dead end street. No. I used to go down and over a couple streets over in this huge like neighborhood that we lived in.
Yeah.
It was a different time. But I mean, it was out on an island. You know what I mean, where crime was a little different. The people are a little different.
It's a little bit different.
I think that if you're in a pretty decent enough neighborhood, if you've got smart enough kids, if you've shown them enough, then I think
Would
it's
you let
okay.
your kids?
Not in the neighborhood that I live.
Your old neighborhood.
Yeah. Out there? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, right in front of the house where I can see them. I've got my blinds open. I'm not locked up in my bedroom or anything like that. Then, You know what I mean? Like, my mom was out and about in the house, so she knew that she could hear us. You know what I mean? I knew that she could hear me. Like, if anything happened, I'd scream. I'd scream like a bitch. I don't care.
Hey, man.
Help! They're trying to steal a 6-foot-tall, 108-pound boy. It's definitely not for a good reason. That was my life.
Yeah. But, I think that's just the way I think kids these days are a little softer than they were from when we grew up. Yeah. But you do have like the delinquents that are just like, whoa, language. You're 10 years old. What did you just say? So I think it's just the gamut that runs in between that. There is no middle ground. To me, it feels like there is.
It is. I see a lot of. I think the lower extreme where you don't have much outside.
Yeah.
I see everyone outside, and it's in a neighborhood that isn't that great. And then with parents.
Oh, where you're at?
Yeah, where I work. Yeah. There are kids out there that. I mean, they're dropping all forms of vulgarity, including N-word or whatever. Yeah. I had to kick some trespassers out for jumping into a pool. They were all kids, and all of them, F-U, N-word over and over. And it's just all like, really? And my job's on a pretty busy street.
Yeah.
All right. And it's like, and you don't live here. You live at another property, and you've walked over here with another group of kids, like, to go ahead and do this. Like, where are your parents? Yeah. Why aren't you playing in front of your house over there? Why aren't you in that pool? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't you, like, I see way too many that's what they're doing. They're running out there.
It's ridiculous.
It is. It's bad.
Ridiculous. But I think that about covers our time. About 54 minutes. Not bad.
Not bad at all.
Not bad.
2 topics.
I know, right? But thank you again for joining us, Will.
For sure.
It was fantastic having this little little more open, little free conversation.
I appreciate the curse word time.
I know, right? I know the first time you said it, I was like, wait, what? Wait.
Yeah.
We're not on that podcast.
Yeah.
We're on this one now.
So,
but yeah, where can people find you?
Over, I always say on Twitter at Krypton's Will, but I'm not really there. I'm the producer of In Our Honest Opinion. Go to inhonestopinion.com. They can comment there. That's where I keep up with everything. So
yeah, and you can find me on Twitter. I think I'm the same way. I try to be a little more active. The Artful Gent on Twitter. Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up at buddytalkspod@gmail.com.
Ooh,
I know. Right. But yeah, thanks again.
This was fun.
I had a very fun time. We'll have to do this again.
Was the first episode of Buddy Talks the three of us?
It's going to be the three of us.
So I'm glad we were able to do that then. And and this being my second appearance, this was fun too.
Time paradox. Yeah. Even though I said this is your first appearance, it's technically your second.
Yeah, exactly. That.
Yeah.
Great times.
Exactly. Do you have anything else?
No, man. This was a lot of fun. Definitely, you guys give a like, subscribe, comment to this guy.
Yes.
Because the call to action is definitely a thing.
Yes, it is. You're so good. It's like you host another podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Never forget that. Never forget that. Couple seasons deep. I think we've kind of mastered this kind of shit. So. Yeah. But no, man. This was fun. Hopefully you'll be hearing my voice again.
Yeah. Yeah. So. And thanks, everyone.
Yep.
Good night.